I'm looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. And we didn't talk about it yet. Julio Jones comes in, and yet again for the Buccaneers, they're taking on the reclamation project of a former All-Pro receiver to go along with Mike Evans. Chris Godwin, who'll come back into the season later off of his torn ACL. They're saying he might be ready for week 1 from some of the reports I've seen. That is insane.
Same.
You look at Saquon last year, the Giants were taking all the time in the world to make sure he was going to get the full 365 before he came back. And totally different positions, I get that. But I don't know if the necessity or the need is there because you also add in Russell Gage as well, who could have as good of a year as Julio Jones, truth be told. I know some people want to like to hear that, but Russell Gage is an underrated receiver. And I'm telling you, man, there's a few players in this Buccaneers offense that I think one of them, Rashad White from Arizona State, many NBA fans, NFL fans wouldn't even know who he is, but I think with Tom Brady, you know what you're going to get offensively, and he likes his receiving backs. Rashad White is one of those guys, I think former 4th or 5th round pick. And I think for the Buccaneers this year, as good as this offense can be, it's not a guarantee they win this division. Not by any stretch of the imagination, because the New Orleans Saints may be the most underrated team in football this year. And I want to hear your guys taking the Buccaneers before we jump onto our Saints preview first, because the Buccaneers, to me, are the front runner to win this thing.
Let me jump on that because Brandon's sleeping right now on that take, but I actually love it. I'm a big fan of that take because I'm with you looking at the Saints roster. But looking at the Bucks, it's very hard not to say, okay, Tom Brady came back. They talked this guy right out of retirement. How long was he retired? What, 2 months?
They're like 40 days?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they got him right back out of retirement. They re-signed Godwin. Julio Jones is in the fold. My favorite addition is Shaq Mason to the O-line. I love that move. Unfortunately, as a Patriot fan, that's something I hated. But for the Bucks outlook, you gotta love it. I don't know how you can't look at this team and say, okay, this team can win another Super Bowl. You know, just 2 years ago they were celebrating. Last year, if it wasn't for nobody guarding Cooper Kupp on that very last play, they're probably getting the ball back and they're going to march their way to the Super Bowl. You know, so as long as Tom Brady's in the fold, it's hard for me to ever doubt this Buccaneer team.
Okay. So Justin kind of he said he liked the take, but then he made the point that no, he's really on my side that the Saints are not.
But okay. I'm saying it's not a shoo-in.
It's a shoo-in.
We're gonna get into that in a few minutes for Buccaneers listeners.
Listen, when your quarterback is Tom Brady, it's a shoo-in.
Did Tom Brady win the division his first year in the NFC South?
No, he didn't.
No. Did he win a Super Bowl though?
He did, but the point is the division isn't a guarantee. It's not going to be gift wrap.
Was Drew Brees? Is Drew Brees still there?
Yeah, but he was not the same.
He was not the same.
Is Sean Payton still there?
Last season.
You're right. Sean Payton is not there.
All right then. All right. I just wanted to be clear.
Was Michael Thomas playing that season, Brandon?
Huh?
Was Michael Thomas playing in the 2020 season?
Yeah, Michael.
No, he wasn't.
I think so. I think he played a couple of games.
Yeah, a couple of games. The former offensive player of the year.
That doesn't. All right, that's neither here nor there. The most important pieces on that New Orleans Saints team, and you can't debate this, is Sean Payton and Drew Brees. So they were there.
Talk about that in a few minutes.
They were there.
The Buccaneers was sticking the Buccaneers.
And now they're not there. Okay, I know. Don't. I got it. You guys were making the points. Okay, so with the Buccaneers, right? Every year I've gone in. Okay, if Tom Brady's your quarterback, you've got a chance to win a Super Bowl. All right, it's been that way every year. So for the past, I don't know, since since he started. All right. Now, yeah, you can name the losses. You know, they lost Ronald Jones to Kansas City. Gronk retired. They lost O.J. Howard to Buffalo. Alex Kappa's in Cincinnati. Marpet retired. And Ndamukong Suh still a free agent. JPP still a free agent. Richard Sherman is a free agent. And they lost Jordan Whitehead to the New York Jets. I look at those and I say, okay, I mean, Kappa and Marpet are some significant losses. Ronald Jones, name the season Tom Brady had a dominant running game, and Ronald Jones is not a dominant running back. So I'm fine with that. Losing Sue is going to be losing Sue and JPP is and Whitehead is going to be a loss for that on the defense. But I mean, if you look at what they've done to fill some of those gaps, like on the O line, like Justin said, they traded for Shaq Mason and they drafted a tackle slash guard in the second round, and I can't say this kid's last name, Luke Gowadecki, whatever, out of Central Michigan. So he's probably going to have to be a a plug and play guy right away. They drafted their first pick. They didn't have a first round pick, so in the second round they drafted a defensive tackle out of Houston and Logan Hall. So he's going to fill the gap for Ndamukong Suh. At the tight ends position, I mean they were deep the last couple of years with Gronk, OJ Howard, and Cameron Brate. Now it's just really Cameron Brate. He's gonna fill the gap, and he's a starting caliber tight end. I mean, he's a really good red zone threat. We've seen the touchdowns he's able to produce over his career. They signed Kyle Rudolph. He's a veteran tight end. He's not going to give you what he used to give you, but he's going to be a veteran receiving tight end, a big body guy.
Brady's a big fan of Bray too.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, big body guy in the he's kind of built like a Gronk, but not like as built. But he's right there. I think he's 6'6". He's up there in like 240 range. I think so. He's
He's,
right there with Gronk
he's a
in terms of
reliable tight end.
He's
And
a
listed at
reliable tight end.
265 is what they have him listed out of Football Reference.
265. Okay, so that's a big boy right there. Yeah, and
fantasy.
he's quite nimble for 265. Honestly, if you watch him on the field. Tom was coming. I mean, there's no. I don't think any of us see a decline in Tom Brady. I think that ship has sailed, right? Okay. Yeah, he's 45, but
Turned
there's no.
45. You're not going to shout that
Don't
out.
nod your head like that. He's coming off an MVP caliber season. We were
Well, I mean,
talking about,
you don't know. Like you never
huh?
know you never know when a quarterback's going to start to regress. It had like Ben Roethlisberger, he had an idea because he basically had the tendons in his elbow replaced.
Name the major injury that Tom Brady suffered. It's the torn ACL in
I'm
2008.
saying Ben's the outlier. Look at a Drew Brees or even like a Philip
Injuries.
Rivers. It wasn't that abdominal. I'm trying to think
Drew
what
Brees,
Brees'
yeah,
injury was.
those were injuries over the time that ended Drew Brees' career, and
I think it was a collapsed lung. I'm trying to
and that
think.
terrific injury that he suffered early on in his career, which I'm sure had problems continuously over the last 15 years of his career, because that doesn't leave you. Yeah, Tom Brady's the outlier in this situation. He's defied all laws of physics, if we've been honest. He's the guy who's gone toe to toe with Father Time the longest. All right, this guy Tom Brady is next level. He's there. I don't. I listen. I went into this little thing on our NBA episode last time with the Max Kellerman. I had to listen to this drivel since like 2011, 2012 when I first heard Rob Parker talk about it on First Take, saying Tom Brady will never win another Super Bowl. He said that year after year after year, and guess what? Tom Brady won. Tom Brady won. Tom Brady won. All right, Tom Brady has always been in contention for a Super Bowl, basically every year. I don't even need to pull up his championship record. It's the numbers are astronomical. So for me, Tom Brady, there's no concern in Tom Brady. Tom Brady's going to be there. Tom Brady's the hardest working guy in the room. He's the first one to get there. He's the last one to leave. He's doing things that other people aren't doing. He's practicing in early February after the season with his receivers. That's psychotic, okay?
Oh,
So
and and it's tough to ever see a decline out of Tom Brady when you're surrounding him with talent like that. You have two Hall of Fame receivers on the outside now, and Julio and Mike Evans. Dude,
and just the way he takes care of his body. Nobody else in the NFL is taking care of their body the way Tom Brady does.
yeah, but
Yeah,
and that's the thing. It's not even so much about him taking care of his body. Well, that's a big thing. It's just the older you get, the more you want talent surrounding you. That's why I look at Green Bay and I'm like, Aaron Rodgers is getting up there. He's pushing 40, and they seem to take away the talent that he needs to be successful. While Tom Brady taking all these pay cuts, he's just getting this influx of talent every single year.
Well, I will also say, because we have to mention it's also the league that he plays in currently right now. The rule changes have really protected the quarterback and the style of play that Tom Brady bless you and the style of play that Tom Brady plays, where he's a pocket passer. He's not going to run outside the pocket very often, rarely at best. Um, he's not going to put himself in harm's way. If the play's not there, he'd rather drop to a fetal position and just get touched than take a big
Mm.
hit. He's got the quickest release in the NFL, probably, or right up there. Like Tom Brady's, this is 20 plus years of freaking mental knowledge. This is how this guy's beating you. He's not the greatest athlete. He's not even close to that. It's up here. It's a chess match with Tom Brady. All
Wow.
right. So it's all mental. Mind over matter is a very powerful thing. And if he believes something, and he goes out and he does all the hard work to get to that job that he's going to do, I have no doubts in Tom Brady, and nobody should have doubts in Tom Brady. Now, if you look at you guys mentioned Julio coming in. That was a big addition for me. I think if Julio, especially now, there's not going to be much pressure on him because he's going to be I guess the third guy because you got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I know Godwin's coming off an ACL. Like John said, he's going to be on track to start for the season.
Which is like
We'll
week 15 last year is when he tore
Yeah,
his ACL,
it's
which
it's
I can't
crazy.
believe.
I mean, but we've seen this before. Some people are built different.
Adrian
We saw
Peterson.
Adrian Peterson. Like I was just, some people are built different. They come back like insanely fast. So we'll see what he's able to produce at this level. I think bringing Julio in is so good. Like I think if Julio's on the field, he's going to demand respect from the defense. Uh,
If he could
and
just stay
then
healthy more so.
healthy, yeah. That's the thing. And the hamstring I've talked about before. The hamstring can come up in a blink of an eye. Like you're doing perfectly fine, and then out of nowhere you make one little slight movement, and your hamstring is like
Mm.
locked up, and then you can't even walk. So, but I think he'll be all right. Like you know, Tom Brady can maybe work some of his guru with Alex Guerrera, helped get Julio on the TB12 method. He's going to be playing in Tampa Bay. Nice weather, warm weather. That's good for the bones and the tendons and the all that muscle and whatnot. So, like John said, they brought in Russell Gage.
A
He's
future
coming
wide
off two
receiver
years
for the
of
Rays.
700 plus receiving yards. So that's going to be a good addition. I, I look at it and they have the two cornerstones at tackle and Tristan Wirfs and Donovan Smith. Yes, Jensen got injured at center and he was important to Tom, but it's happened early in August. I think they're going to be able to get somebody ready in time for the start of the season. Excuse me, and there's no counting out if Jensen's going to come back during the season. So I could easily see that. So that's not really a non-issue really for me. Um, I look at the defense, right? They still got Shaq Barrett. They still got Vita Vea, Levante David, who's been there for the longest time. Devin White, who's a athletic freak. They got Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, Mike Edwards, Murphy Button, Antoine Winfield Jr., who I really liked in that draft when he was coming out. He's a real chip off the old block. They added Keanu Neal and Logan Ryan for this safety position, so that's going to be a good veteran type presence. I I just look at it and I say, where's the concern, John? All right, tell me where's the concern because I'm that's not even my whole argument on the Buccaneers. So where's the concern on Tampa Bay side?
So first off, there is no concern. We'll talk about the Saints in a few minutes. I will say one thing we haven't touched on yet is Bruce Arians stepping down, and then Todd Bowles being promoted. Bowles, I think we tend to forget this is a dude who won 10 games with Ryan Fitzpatrick and Chris Ivory in New York. That Jets team was not in flux of talent, and in spite of that, they overachieved in every way that season. Now he's going to be moving up to head coach. I like that a lot because to me, he was more than deserving of getting another opportunity as a head coach. His last 3 years in New York weren't good. I think it was 5-11, 4-12, maybe another 5-11. But it's the Jets. I mean, let's look at the Jets, kind of like the Dolphins the last 20 years. 10 wins is like we're throwing a mini parade. They didn't make the playoffs though, in spite of that. So I mean, in every sense, Todd Bowles is to me he's gonna fill in very well. I want to mention that. I think that's pretty important.